Hey everybody, this is David at Homestead Hacks and Hens. I guarantee you won't find a healthier, more delicious eggs than raising your chickens like this. And look at the size, and my hands aren't small. Look at the size of these. These are, I would say, at least extra large. At least, if not jumbo, some of them. And these chickens, like I say in the past, they don't eat anything but corn and what they forage out here in the grass. Now you can imagine once spring comes and these chickens start eating good young sprouts of grass and weeds and tons of insects, how much more they'll increase. Now this is like, still the days are extremely short. I don't add any light. I've tried that before and it does work with pen raised chickens while you're feeding them laying pellets. It wouldn't work with feeding them corn. I've tried that. I've been there, done that. Some of you may have better luck than I have with that, but as far as that goes, it works as long as you feed them laying pellets. I've never fed this batch of chickens laying pellets. They've only had whole corn. I give them the whole corn because I believe it's better for them. And they eat what they want off the barn. And the rest is just forage, eating grass. Most of the chickens now they're up front under the bird feeders. They try to pick off what they can get from them. And just like this big fat hen here, she's looking around, eating grass. You can see she's eating. And they get all the nourishment they could ever want just from this yard, which is 3 acres, plus this bottom part here that I lease from an owner is 3 acres. They don't go too far down there. They go about halfway down. Of course, the pond. I can't stress that enough. This makes chicken raising so easy if you could ever get a setup like this. But you can artificially do this as well. You know, the feeder on the barn, that's simple. You could also do that with a watering system. You could hook up an automatic watering system to a water hose and leave it on with a float that would operate on the float valve. You could do that as well, and that would make that really automated. There's different ways to do this simple, and like I said, kind of excuse the mess. We're coming out of winter, everything's wet and soggy and dirty. Chicken pen inside needs cleaned out as soon as it dries up enough. And like I told you before, that's the run chicken that protects these chickens at nighttime, and it'll go down once it gets so dark. It won't reopen until morning, until you get enough sunlight, then they resume. Believe me, if you can control the nighttime predators when it comes to birds, you'll control 80–90% of what could happen to your chickens. Think about that, because foxes, opossums, raccoons, coyotes, weasels, mink, they all are nocturnal animals. They come out at nighttime. If you ever do see a raccoon in the daytime, something's wrong with that raccoon. It's either rabid or it's got something wrong with it. For one thing, don't go near it, because it bites you. It'll give you whatever it has. So what's that leave for daytime that could kill your chickens? Well, hawks, for one thing. And really the biggest predator is our own domesticated dogs. Neighbors' thug dogs that can't be controlled, and they let run loose, ravagely, and they kill your chickens, and they don't seem to, a lot of them don't seem to care that that happens, and don't want to take any responsibility when they do, and they say, well, they're just dogs. Well, those dogs shouldn't have been in someone else's yard killing their chickens. So that's the biggest thing right there is dogs. Hawks can be an issue, but there's tricks that I spoke about before that'll help dramatically. Dark colored chickens will help. A good population of crows. I've not really studied up a lot on how to attract crows, but I do know one thing: I don't scare them and I don't shoot at them, and I just kind of walk gently around them and don't make them feel intimidated, and they seem to keep coming back. And there's a lot of them, so when they're around, I never see a hawk circling ever, or a hawk calling. So they're really a pain in the butt to the hawk. The hawks are loners. They don't fight with other hawks as far as teaming up on something else. So they're pretty much on their own. When those crows attack, they'll attack in numbers, and the hawk don't have a chance. And somebody, I wanted to kind of address this. Somebody asked me, well, David, you got white geese. What will those hawks do to those geese? Well, I'll tell you what the hawks will do to these geese. They'll run from them. That big gander right there walking straight to me, my daughter witnessed a hawk coming down and was on top of a chicken killing it. He come around the corner running and jumped on that hawk and beat it to the ground. And that hawk done everything it could do to get away from fighting for his life. These things are big. They're 4 times the size of a red-tailed hawk, good 3 size. And with their big wingspan, and it scared the heck out of that hawk. These are good watchdogs. Now you can also do not Australian shepherds, the big white sheepdogs. I can never think the name of them. There's the neighbors comes in the yard all the time. You can have those to protect, but these are probably the smallest, cheapest thing that you can get that'll help protect your flock of chickens, because they'll even attack people. They never physically do it. They pretend they're going to do it, but they never do. But they're intimidating, and they'll come at anything. And I'm hoping to get a few more. I'm hoping it took these geese here about 4 years of failure of raising a nest of eggs, because they would hatch, they would die. They would hatch next year, they would die. And last year they hatched off, I think 5, and end up losing 3 of them. And so now we got 2 babies. That's the 2 here on the left. That's the babies. That's the mother and the big gander, the father, and that's the 2 babies right there. And I'm hoping that they produce a few more this year. I don't know, we'll see. Get the number of those build up a little bit. But that's about it, folks. I get on a sidetrack and talk about something else, but I just like talking farming. And if you like talking farming, hear about farm animals and what's going on, please help share our videos, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Homestead Hacks and Hens.